So ever since the Cold War Zombies trailer dropped, I've had nothing but fear coursing through my body due to a lot of key features that have been added to the game. And I've been reading comments on these videos to see how people feel about these changes, and apparently I seem to be the only one who is legitimately worried about these changes. Most people I've noticed express their concerns always bring up the fact that you no longer have to start with a pistol, and that you can spawn in on round 1 with an assault rifle if you choose to, and I have some pretty scary news for anyone who thinks that that little decision is going to be as game-changing as some of the other, bigger and more worrisome decisions that I've seen in this trailer. So let's talk about that. So the first thing that I'll hinge on just to start it off is these guys. Now, at first glance, these guys might not seem like they'd be that big of a deal, but let's dive a little deeper into them and see what we can dissect from what we see in the trailer. Now, the first appearance of these guys in the trailer comes from a scene where an automated turret kills a horde of zombies, and it seems like one of these killed zombies gets up out of the crowd before splitting himself into 2 whole elemental type zombies. Now, I say elemental type because it seems to be a theme of this map for things to be radioactive, and we will see more of this later on, but just know that when I say elemental type, I'm talking about any zombies and all zombies that have that irradiated glow around them like these guys do. Now, these guys spawn right after a horde was killed, so it seems like these guys spawn in on their own rounds, because if one of the players in this trailer just ended the round, then that would lead to these guys spawning much like a dog round. But that's not what's happening here. You see, these guys are actually spawning mid-round, and we know this because later on in the trailer, we see that dogs are also making a return, and they are set to spawn on individual rounds, and not these guys. So as a result, we can determine that they spawn after a large group is killed, or perhaps when an infected zombie is killed in that group, and from the looks of it, they won't be that much of a problem. I'm 100% confident that they will be super easy to kill and not have a very high damage output, but these elemental zombies themselves aren't what worries me. It's their abilities that worry me. Now, looking back on past events with past zombies maps, I've noticed that the zombies community really hates any annoying features in their zombie maps. For example, Zetsubo no Shima was a map that was supposed to be one of the scariest maps of all time, but of course it just wasn't. And in fact, that map was actually very annoying, and nearly everyone who played this map hated it with a passion. But why? This thing, those things, and these things are the sole reason why this map failed. This dude was such of a pain, and the fact that he could swallow your teammates made him super annoying, not to mention his spawn rates were just off the charts annoying. The spiders themselves really weren't all that bad. It was more the fact that they webbed the entire map and blocked off a lot of the areas that made them so annoying. And then you have these freaking things that make traversing the map just generally impossible in late rounds without a gas mask that often breaks and has to be picked up several times in a single round just to survive. And I think that those are great examples of how annoying mechanics can ruin a map, and here on the machine, we are starting to see some potentially very annoying attributes brought on by these elemental type zombies. These guys, for example, have some kind of ranged charge attack where they can create a ball of radiation and throw it at you from a distance. And knowing Treyarch, when this ball hits you, it will damage you, stun you briefly, and blur or obscure your vision for a number of seconds. I'm calling it right here, right now. These guys are going to be annoying, bottom line. But one annoying elemental type zombie isn't enough to ruin this map. But there's more than one elemental type of zombie. You see, those dogs I mentioned earlier, oh yeah, they're irradiated too. Now, dog rounds have never been super difficult, and I'm sure that it was just more of a skin change to help fit the theme of this map better, but, you know, these guys will still probably be normal aside from just looking different, so these guys don't bother me, at least not yet. But of course, our list of elemental type zombies don't end there, ladies and gentlemen. There is one more, and this one comes in the form of a mini-boss. Yes, sir, you heard me correctly. This guy right here makes an appearance towards the end of the trailer, and wouldn't you guess that he has some seemingly annoying abilities as well. Now, from what we can see in the trailer is that this guy can also throw the ranged gamma balls just like the smaller guys can, but of course with this guy being a mini-boss, he has the ability to have more than one kind of attack. And of course, this secondary attack that this guy has is a freaking face laser beam that can track you around the map and chip your health away little by little as you try to run from it for long enough until he stops so you can kill him. And that's really the only two abilities we've seen from him during his 8 seconds on screen. I'm sure he has more, and obviously, with as swole as he is, I'm sure he can curb stomp you just as easily as the Margwa could if you get too close to him. But anyways, let's recap all of the new enemies on this map. So we have the little gamma dudes which spawn in on mid rounds. We have dogs that I'm sure are bound to spawn in on set rounds. And we have this mini boss that spawns in on separate rounds as well. But there's one little problem that I forgot to mention. There is actually another mini boss that spawns on this map. Yep, for the first time ever, we have two different style mini bosses that spawn on the same map, and here's a picture of the little guy. Now this picture was released by Treyarch on their Twitter not long after the trailer was released, and we know that this is still on the same map because the tank in the background can be spotted multiple times throughout the trailer. The only thing that sets this picture off is that obviously it is no longer daytime behind this guy. It's nighttime, of which we also see towards the end of the trailer. Okay, so now let's recap for real. We have the annoying guys that spawn in mid-round, dogs that spawn on set rounds, the elemental style mini-boss that seems to spawn during the day, and finally we have the Brutus style mini-boss that seems to spawn during the nighttime. Now if we take into effect all of the info that we just gathered and put it together with a few other things we know about this map so far, like upgradable perks, no longer spawning in with a pistol, kill streaks, etc., it seems to me like this map has a lot going for it, but I'm seeing more negatives than positives right now, and maybe that's just me, but let me know what you guys think about these points I made. Am I looking too far into this, or did I hit on a lot of good notes? Also, let me know what you thought about the video, and remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. My name is Sighlent, and I'll see you all in the next one.